Hello and welcome to episode 240. So today we are talking all about being excited about your transition. Now, if you are not transitioning, I want you to ask yourself, are you excited about your career now, about where you are in your journey? And let's just say that you're like, I'm happy with my career and I'm excited about this. I want you to pick another area where you could be more excited about where you're going. And this is what I mean. What I typically see with a lot of people that are transitioning out, specifically women, and also based on my journey, is that we lose the excitement of what's to come. We lose excitement of the possibilities of the next role, of the next career field. So that's what I want to talk about today. But before we begin, I want to remind you that Brave and Bold Bootcamp is open for registration and we start on October 14th. And this is a 6-week group coaching program where you get to come on board and learn all about what role you're going to pursue, identify exactly the type of company that you want to work for, the location type. We work on the resume, we work on your branding, we do a whole makeover of your LinkedIn profile. And I want to invite you to come as a founding member, meaning that you'll get it at the lowest price ever. It's $79 and it's a 6-week, 1 hour. Each week we focus on you in that path that is going to get you into the next role. And so I want to invite you to come join me so that you can get started and get ahead based on where you want to continue your career. And so if you haven't already, come on over to wendyray.com/coaching so that you can register and get started on October 14th. Okay, so with that, I want to encourage you to have an open mind on feeling excited about your transition, feeling excited about what's to come, what's next in your career. And I know that sometimes it's really hard to do this when we have a lot of things going on in the background and a lot of things or a lot of tasks on our to-do list. And so this is a way where I can help you kind of understand and get this idea of how can I make this more interesting? How can I make this more exciting for me? Because here's what happens when we're not excited or we're not showing up as excited for this chapter of our career. It shows, and it shows across the board, either on social media, at in-person events for your interview. And it really also shows when you're in the interview process. So I want to encourage you today to just have an open mind on doing things with, or getting these things done, these small tasks with some excitement. And before we kind of go into how we're going to do that, I want to give you the reasons on why you're not feeling excited. Most of the time, especially as women, we have a lot going on. There's just a lot of things going on at the same time. You're still in your job, you're going to your VA appointments, you have other appointments that you are scheduling, transportation. There are just so many appointments going on at the same time that you lose focus of the most important thing in the next important chapter of your life, and that is your next career, the following career. Now, if you're like, Wendy, I'm not going to go into corporate, I'm not going to go get a job right away, I'm going to take a break, that's great too. I want you to feel excited about that next thing. It doesn't specifically need to be a job within itself, but it needs to be something that you are looking forward to, right? So your retirement, maybe you're going on a trip, maybe you are just taking an entire year or 6 months off and just focusing on you. But what happens is that we lose sight of that, and now we create overwhelm, we get frustrated, there's so many things going on in order for you to get there. But I want you to start creating that enjoyment, that excitement ahead of time. And so if you're going into school or you're like, I have no idea what I'm going to do yet, I'm still indecisive, I still want you to use this as an emotion that's going to help you get into action and create that result, right? Making a decision. That's possibly all that you're wanting to get out of this. And that's what I want to encourage you to do today. So in these 10 minutes or 15 minutes or so, I want to encourage you to feel excited about what's next, even if you have no idea what's next. Because here's the thing, none of us know exactly or are for certain on what's next for us. We just have this idea, we plan this idea, this thing that we envision or that we think is going to happen based on what we've already committed to or what we've already kind of challenged ourselves to. It could be school, it could be a job, it could be just taking a break. That can be challenging for some of you too. I know it was for me, like taking a break for what? Like, let's go, let's keep going. But I want to encourage you to really do this from a place of, here's what's next for me, or I have no idea what's next for me, but I will trust the process and have an open mind to having fun at the same time, feeling excited. And so a lot of times there's a lot of doubt. So one, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of things happening in the background. So we lose focus and we get overwhelmed or frustrated. And then the second thing that happens too, we kind of entertain this self-doubt that comes up, right? This uncertainty of you getting it done or going into that field or fulfilling or fully committing to that next phase, that next chapter of your life. It could be as simply as getting married or maybe starting a family, right? You may be uncertain or you may have some doubt about that. There may be some insecurity about that, but that's completely okay. It's completely normal. So what I don't want you to do is entertain it. I want you to find ways where you can then also know that you do have the tools, you do have the resiliency to get past that and that you're going to get there no matter what. And so those are just a couple of things, like the two top things that come up for a lot of women that I help to include myself on why we don't feel excited about this one thing and sometimes even feel like we are avoiding it or just losing sight of the fun in it, of the excitement that's actually going to come. But we forget about that because there's so much going on, or we're like feeling a little bit of doubt, a little insecure, and we're like, how are we going to get that done? So I want to encourage you right now to just imagine that you are excited about this one thing that's coming up at the next phase, the next chapter. And some of you may be excited, but here's what I also want to encourage you. Be excited even when you have to do that resume. Feel excited even when you're preparing for an interview. Feel excited even when you're searching for companies, searching for roles, going to LinkedIn events, or to in-person events or online as well. I want you to feel excited because it is going to be exciting. Now, here's the thing. I know you're probably thinking, well, going to school is not that exciting, or finding this new job is going to be completely new. I get it. But here's the thing. The more that we can attach this positive emotion to it, and the more that we can actually feel excited about the next thing, the more creative you're going to get. And that's the important piece about all of this. The more we can get creative, the more that we can use that muscle within our brain to get creative on doing things. Then you can ask yourself those straight questions, right? Like, how am I going to show up? How am I going to make this resume fun and exciting to get done? Maybe I'm going to use AI. Maybe I'm going to join Brave and Bold Bootcamp, right? I want to be excited and be in a community where this is going to feel great, and it's also going to prepare me for the next thing. How can you show up even when it's not an exciting thing, right? Because resume, let's face it, it's not an exciting thing. Maybe for some of you it could be, but overall it's not. And so I want to encourage you to even the little things, right? Submitting your transcripts, looking at your online degree plan, like that sometimes is not exciting. Looking at homes in this other location. Go and set up that VA appointment and talk about, the mental struggles that you're having. That's not exciting, but can we make it exciting in a way where we can get creative on how we're going to get this done from I want to get this done so that I can then also feel that excitement when I get to the other side of the civilian sector, right, of your transition. And so it could be as simple as conversations with your spouse, with your children. Those hard conversations, I want you to get creative. How can you make them not as difficult, or maybe bring in a spin or make it interesting to that other individual, to your audience, to your children, to your spouse, to your significant other, to your friends, to your family? How can you then make this exciting? Because when you're excited, you can then now lean into what you're all about, right? Your personality. You're building that momentum on how you're going to show up in in-person event, right? When they ask you, well, tell me a little bit about you. Instead of dreading it and feeling like, oh my gosh, this is so uncomfortable and it's not something that I'm prepared for. Why? Because you weren't excited. So I want you to just imagine that whatever it is, that tedious thing, the resume, the most uncomfortable in-person interaction, I want you to make it exciting. Just think about today, this week, whenever you listen to this episode, how can I make this journey more exciting? How can I make it to where I am looking forward to submitting this resume, submitting this application, going to this interview, going to this in-person event, going to this online event, and actually introducing myself, because that's what's going to make me better at communicating what I'm looking for, who I am, what I'm all about, what I stand for, what my values are. And so that is what I want you to work on this week, today, whenever you listen to this episode, because it's so important for you to show up in that manner instead of like, oh, I'm dreading this event. I don't know what I'm going to wear. And then you just literally line up your outfit to how you're feeling. And that's not going to be a good thing, because then you're showing up in that way as well. And now connections are going to go, okay, well, she clearly looks a little down, or she has no idea what she wants. She sounds insecure, uncertain, not connecting with this individual, moving on to the next person that looks exciting. It also is excited because she's showing up in that way. And so this week, I want to encourage you to take a moment and really ask yourself, how can I make this more exciting than I already have it in my mind? Because that's going to help you. It's going to propel you into taking action in a way where it's now building on the curiosity muscle. Now it's building on, how can I make this even better? How can I show up even better into the next chapter of my life? All right, I hope that this is helpful. And listen, if you need some more tools, you need some more encouragement, you need someone that's going to help you each step of the way of this transition, you need to come join me in a Brave and Bold Bootcamp, where it's a 6-week journey where you come in and we build up your new role, continue your new identity, build your personal brand on LinkedIn, and continue to refine the job roles that you are pursuing, the next career. All right. Have a beautiful rest of your week. Talk to you soon.